Hello and welcome to the All New Nerds Live. It's
L to the I to the V
we
to
should
the E.
we should have numbered these because I don't even know what week it is. But anywho, it's All New Nerds Live. It's Wednesday, and we're here to talk about Mandalorian chapter 19
and Pabu.
and
19.
A little bit of Bad Batch. A little bit of
18,
Bad Batch on the side. A little sprinkle, a little dabble, a little Bad Batch on the side.
Dimes, good to see
Of course,
you.
joined with Levi.
Hey, Dimes.
And we are living in it. It's we're living in the age of Grogu, so we had to bring on Brent.
Hey guys, how's it going?
We're literally living the age of Grogu.
So I've seen a lot of varied takes online.
Yeah, this has been I can
surprised.
say this was probably one of the worst editing experiences for like a reaction video I've ever had. I don't know why this episode in particular. It was not fun. I don't know. I usually don't hate it, but this week I did not.
I had fun.
Like it.
I had fun going through this. It was.
You did? That's
was
good. I didn't.
Well, on my end, it was. I had so much fun with this episode specifically that there were just moments that just really stuck out. So it was like, it was easy for me to.
I don't know why I feel that way. I just do. I mean, it was a good
Really?
app. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was funny.
Alert.
In the middle of the night.
Speaking of that.
In the middle of the night, Johnny texts me. He's like, "I think I don't like this episode now." And I was like, "There's no way." I was like,
What?
You're joking me."
Why, Johnny? Why?
I don't know. No, I don't know. I was up late. I literally
I-
went to. You guys don't even want to know. I went to bed when after the sun fully came up. So I don't. The whole thing.
No,
Anyway,
it becomes a late night, especially if you're
enough
a
about
college
me.
kid.
It
Yeah,
was very
it is.
funny.
Mhm.
But anyway,
We actually have a special surprise. We're gonna.
Oh, that's right, we
Need a
do
few
have a
minutes
special
on that,
surprise.
but continue.
but it is worthy of note that I have seen a lot of people say this is not a good episode, and that blows me away because off the bat I'm like, this is one of my favorite episodes. Period. I loved almost every second of this, and I've had a chance to rewatch.
Do I have to torrent?
No. We just record. We screen record.
No. Yeah, no.
Oh yeah,
But,
yeah.
But at the 4 a.m. part, yes.
Yeah, it's good
Love
to see
these
Star
three
Wars
episodes.
politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is
Yeah,
this is for us, Star Wars politics.
Levi is our
The deep-
our lore guy here.
This episode
He's got an
was-
encyclopedia brain. I don't have that, but
This
do
episode
I.
was
there was a lot to chew on though.
wealthy. It was overflowing
It was rich.
with deep cuts, and for
This
me
is
that
an
really
episode
worked.
I kind of took a back seat and just kind of just was taking it in. Not a big reaction. Hello. We were, yes, Corey and I shout out. We're editing together on a yard at like 5 a.m. my time. So it was awesome.
It was great.
That's just the life of a YouTube person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think despite maybe the varied opinion across the internet, it looks like our chat's pretty positive, and it looks like we're pretty positive. So let's just start with the guest here, Brent. What are your first reactions coming off of this episode?
Yeah, I'm very
We went straight into Return of the Jedi mode for me. It was like full on space battles and everything. It was on the land, of course, but I didn't expect them to pick up immediately the second where they left off. I'm glad that they did, because I needed to understand Bo-Katan's expression as to what her spiritual experience was with this. And I do like the fact that I personally think she was processing all the information. She can't piece it together. She can't really talk about it. She asked Din specifically, did you see anything alive under the water or anything like that? And he said, no, he was passed out. But I'm like, okay, she's processing it, and she doesn't know what to do with this information just yet. I don't think there's anything sinister. I don't think she's driving forth about how she can use this. I think she's just taking it in and going, I don't understand. And that's part of everything that goes from there, losing her house, being accepted into a new house down the track kind of thing at the end of the episode. But I also love the whole Pershing story going in the middle there.
Pershing side story, the B plot. Yeah.
B plot, but here's the thing: a B plot is usually cut between the A plot. We got the entire.
No, I meant more so just. It was
No. But here's the thing. I think that might answer some other question. I think people were a little thrown by an entire story taking place yet again in the middle of another story. and maybe that's what deterred some people. In this particular case, I really enjoyed it. I felt like we could have watched two separate stories. In fact, this felt like it was two episodes that were they couldn't put in 9 episodes for the season, so they put them in like this, and they didn't need to intercut between them. I was perfectly happy with that entire story, and I'm curious. Everybody had the same reaction. What is she up to exactly? We know the end game that she's going to meet up with Gideon somehow, I'm guessing, but the process, the manipulations seemed extreme for how she got to that final result in betraying him, and I like that.
Yeah, I want to build off what Brent's saying and off what Politics is saying here
in this too. Yeah.
Is that I mean, this is a woman who has been on every side of Mandalorian culture at any given point in time, and has watched her civilization go through so many changes. And so by the time we pick her up in this season, she's depressed Bo on the throne. She's dejected. She's she's over it. And she spent last season, degrading the Children of the Watch. She hears that, she goes, "Oh, they're a cult," and she's right. But she's right to say, "Where were you guys when Mandalore fell? When I was, fighting firstly against Mandalore, then for Mandalore." That's all true. That's all still true. But the fact that this cult, like the core of their, like what's driving them, actually has some truth to it. That mythosaur is real. Like, I think that, it definitely, it definitely.
Very excited to see where that goes.
Like that, there's any sort of credence to her. To their way of life, I think gives her some sort of purpose that Mandalore in some form can live again. Because if they believe in this thing and this thing is real, then maybe, like, I don't know, because there is that line from the armor in here at the end when she says, "You can leave at any time you want, the covert, but until you take your helmet, like, as long as you have your helmet on, though, you're with us." But she gives her the out. She understands that you're probably going to leave. So I think Bo sees this opportunity, and is going to try and use her cred now with this faction and try and pull all the factions together. Under this, she sees a new hope in the mythosaur. She sees a chance. I think that's what she's taking in. It's like, this is a potential that I can actually finally save my world.
By that point in time, yes. At the beginning of the episode, it was very strategically.
She's. I mean, obviously, like you said, she's keeping the mythosaur a secret for now. And, she's just waiting for the right moment. But and then I mean, another point. This was a moment for Din and Bo. They're both redeemed in the eyes of the Watchers.
That crossed my mind. I think it crossed all our minds last week when she dove in. It was like, wait a minute, is she also going to? And yes, she does. But they didn't resolve the situation about the Darksaber and didn't really talk.
Yes, I know that's. I mean, that's clearly gonna be resolved at some point this season. But I did like this. I just want to talk about this. Fast food Andor.
Well, the Dias is going a little bit harder on it in the chat. I don't agree with it, but I do like the term. I do like the term fast food Andor. And to move into that Pershing plot,
we were kind of saying something similar the other night.
To move into the Pershing plot, though, I think it's great that what Tony Gilroy is doing in Andor on seeing Imperial Coruscant and what comparing it to how Coruscant is under the New Republic. I mean, the two are informing and feeding off of each other in terms of theme and story. I don't know. For me, Corey and Aubrey in the chat.
Come on
now. It is good to see Coruscant back in full in both eras and understanding how the politics have changed, but also how they stay the same. Which I imagine, Brent, you were going to bring up. You brought it up in your reaction. How you have this class of people at the Opera House. Who they don't care what government.
We see that right through to the Last Jedi. We see the whole class on Canto Bight, and I love that they're exploring that here, because up until there we saw hints of it in the Clone Wars, but not really anything major to this level. That there are all these people who just got freaking money, and that's it. They just want to exist in this world as the higher upper class, and it's very much like our own world, isn't it?
I will say though, I think we're getting a transmission.
Hold on. Or disrupt. There's a transmission.
Communication.
A disruption in the force.
I gotta patch someone through here. Hold on.
Patch.
What's going on, guys? Coming at you from the Western Highlands of Guatemala, so I can't be on the live stream today, but I did want to quickly give my Mandalorian thoughts. Haven't gotten to the Bad Batch yet. But Mandalorian, great episode. Highlights definitely the beginning and end. The Mandalorian and Bo-Katan stuff was just amazing, and Bo seeing the Mythosaur and sort of walking the way again and just being conflicted about the whole thing. Just outstanding stuff. And then in the middle, some people are saying it's dragging. I thought maybe it was 5 minutes too long. But overall, just so much great lore stuff about the amnesty program, which is basically just Operation Paperclip. Super interesting stuff. Great to see Coruscant again in its prime. And just a fantastic episode. I'm giving it an 8-7. Probably my favorite of the season so far. So sorry I couldn't be there, guys.
Excellent.
Cool.
And that's a little
Excellent.
little transmission from
There you go.
Ah,
From Gibbs
Gibbs. In
he is like you said, yeah, he's in
Guatemala.
Guatemala, so couldn't be
No,
here. But
that's cool.
I couldn't agree more with him. Couldn't agree more with him.
And a perfect
But-
segue into that. middle
Sorry, I
section.
had to just
Yeah.
throw that in there. But getting back on track here. Thank you, Corey. He has. I think he has food. I think he has access to food. I'm gonna say. But anyways, back to this episode. What point were we on here?
Well, I mean, we were talking pretty broad strokes. So,
Yeah.
But even Brian is totally right though, and this was, I think, easily my
Wait.
favorite. Go ahead.
Levi, say that again.
Brent was totally right, everybody.
Woohoo!
Clip that. But
About what?
I know you didn't hear about what yet.
Yeah, I know exactly what it was.
But that this opening was totally Return of the Jedi, and it was this is easily.
Oh, I thought you meant the other one about the fact that when Din fell down the actual.
Oh, that too. Yeah,
Oh,
Din fell-
I was, because both
so funny.
says the bombs
Yeah,
created
it's-
a fissure and he fell through it,
And
and
he
it
fell,
was never
yeah.
that large before when she
Yeah.
used to be there,
Yeah.
and
I
it made
know.
perfect sense. This thing was in a chamber under the water, and
Yeah.
he fell through that fissure.
100%. Oh, you were right. No, yeah, I was gonna. Don't worry, I was gonna give you credit for that too. But I was thinking
Sorry.
of like, as you can see, my little subtitle here today is TIE Interceptor Enthusiast, because I love the TIE Interceptor.
Yeah.
And
It's true.
the opening of this episode,
TIE
I think,
Bomber's still my favorite, but
and you got
Interceptor's
to,
awesome.
and they were in this episode too. But
Oh,
the
yeah, no,
whole
totally.
but the whole opening with
Yeah.
this is like this is easily my favorite like directed starfighter
Yeah.
fight in all of Star
No,
Wars.
this is like
This is amazing.
in all.
Yeah.
Yes.
In all,
Dude,
in all of Star Wars.
I got to think about it, but at least in the Disney Plus shows, like
Easily.
absolutely so good. Like
I mean, I
top
think
to
you
bottom.
underestimate. I think you underestimate
When,
how
when
many.
Bo's ship flies around and then swings the left
Yes,
wing,
the-
Get a
yeah,
water
the
bottle.
wings.
oh my
The frost.
gosh, I had to use a prop.
No, I
fucking
agree
cool.
though. Like
Well,
this,
just the
yeah,
camera
this-
shots.
yeah.
Lee Isaac
the,
Chung.
the
who
shot.
directed-
This was like probably one of the most well shot episodes I think of the
Lee Isaac
the whole
Chung,
show.
who directed this episode, and obviously big
Yeah,
credit to
killed
ILM, who
Killed
does a lot of the work. But
Yeah.
Sure, but still.
working with that one shot in Rogue One, it started in Force Awakens, where
Yeah.
with the advent of the digital camera, you could fix it to say like an X-wing's wing. And there's like a couple shots in Force Awakens and Rogue One where they take advantage of that. But
Right.
in this, fixing it on say like the side of the TIE Interceptor and or following, right behind the cockpit on the Gauntlet Bo-Katan's ship and following it through these just gorgeous beaches, and I don't know, like because it's also the fact of the ships that are fighting. Seeing a live action Gauntlet fighter and an N1 from the prequels fight TIE Interceptors is like
Yeah.
the coolest thing ever.
It
Like,
really was. Oh,
I don't know, like
yeah, no.
it's to me this is like peak. This is peak.
yeah.
This is the best.
And
Yeah,
and
so-
here's the thing: if that is like episode 3, I can't wait to see what they do for the season finale. Because if they're at this level now,
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, can we also talk about how open and wide every shot almost was? Like,
Yeah, no,
almost
they-
all the
like,
shots were
huge
that
one.
nice. It
I
didn't
specifically
feel like
noticed it
we-
last episode too, with like the
Yeah.
coming down into
but even
Mandalorian.
more
There was
so
some,
in
like,
this one.
awesome,
The moment we went to
awesome
Coruscant, though, it's just like the
Yeah. Oh yeah.
we
This was
did
just
not
straight up
feel
prequel.
like
Straight up prequel
they
love.
listened 2 years ago. They listened to what people were saying,
Mhm.
that the world was feeling too much on the volume, and
Yeah.
they paid attention to what we were saying, and they did absolutely incredible job
Yeah, yeah,
to open that world up, and
yeah. I mean,
they
were
succeeded
just
in every
straight
every
up
way.
like
Yeah.
prequel shots.
Yeah.
I especially in the opera house, like that was
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, it's the Opera House.
the
Yeah,
opera
yeah.
house, which that was amazing
Yeah.
to see. And then I just like it was just so prequel. I don't even know how to say it. Like it was just
Yeah.
it was so it was so prequel. I mean the shots they have the huge wides of the city, which were great. And then we get into the actual opera house, and there was this wide of Katie O'Brien's. I keep forgetting the officer name. Katie O'Brien's character walking up the stairs, and there was this big
Elia Kane.
wide
Yeah.
of Elia Kane, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Excuse
Kane.
me. Just a lot of I don't know. I felt like I was back in episode 2, episode 3, kind of.
Okay, I got a question about that. So we see
sure.
Dr. Pershing there. He's standing there on the stage talking, and then he starts talking about genetics and all this sort of stuff, and then he touches his ear.
Yeah.
As he's talking about cloning.
Yeah.
I know that he was already in the Republic's, prison, at that point, but do we think he kind of recloned part of his ear as part of the technology that he learned from all this? Because that ear was missing when it got blasted off at the end of season 2.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. Certainly could have. I guess it was never touched upon, but
no. But it was there. It was
that would certainly make sense.
Yeah.
Because last time we saw it, it was blown off. So
yeah.
That would certainly make sense. So I mean, probably.
Well, it was definitely scarred upon. I think what's more likely is that
some reconstruction. I think.
Yeah, there was some sort of reconstructive surgery, maybe. Back to therapy, but whatever it was, I don't think it was specifically cloning, because the droid later mentions on how
they don't want them to use it.
Yeah, cloning's been outlawed, and I think it's a sore spot. He's like, I think he thinks I could have a full ear now.
All right, that makes sense
but
too.
It's not. It's the scarred thing.
Watch Andor.
And in
catching up with chat here.
And in a in a very thematic way, it's also literally a scar that the New Republic left him. But as the result of the Empire, he's in the the care of these people, but when they're asking, do you ever feel any negative resentment? And then that moment when he goes for his ear and he feels like, Cara Dune blew my ear off. That was not a great moment for me. But to talk about that, that TED talk he was doing, the actual content there, he's describing what a strand cast is. And for those who don't know, they've mentioned strand cast before. Queel says it the first time on screen, but they first got brought up in the reference books as to describe what Snoke is and what Palpatine's son is, and where Rey comes from. Like, that's what a strand cast is, where they're blending DNA, and they show the big double helix and it being brought apart. And this is an interesting conversation, because he says, previously the person who I was working for was forcing me to use it for their own gain, and they wanted to enhance themselves with someone else's DNA. So I think that moves maybe to, I had a theory in the past that Moff Gideon wanted to become force sensitive, and that was his goal. And I was like, oh, maybe he was literally trying to splice Grogu's DNA into his own to get the midichlorians, the M count. That's what was going on there.
I think it was just kind of like burnt, like, again, just like the reconstructive little kind of surgeries probably. But I mean, like, yes, like maybe there could have been some I'm not like cloning tech to maybe put part of it back on. I don't know.
Politics is right. Like, the whole ear wasn't gone, but there was definitely it was healed up more than that was gone.
I haven't had the chance to rewatch the episode, so when I did watch it, I was watching on a tiny screen, so I need to watch it on my TV just to kind of take in the details.
This too. Like this episode, I think like perfectly exemplified what Star Wars Politics is saying here. I mean, literally like so much stuff that I didn't even like, that even went over my head to a degree, because I'm not so much into the books and everything with that lore, but obviously Levi is, so he picked up on a lot of stuff. But there was even like little Clone Wars like stuff too. I mean, just seeing Coruscant like that again was obviously just such a treat. And then also, we can get into it, but the peak of Coruscant, the Rock having that in there, and then just there was so much. There's a lot to chew on for this episode.
The connection that Kane was trying to make to Pershing was kind of interesting. You almost like, yes, there's something going on here, but I'm almost convinced that maybe or maybe not. I think the direction between the two cast actors there was fantastic, because there was this element of like, we know in our gut there's something wrong, but it really doesn't feel completely 100% pushed. It felt genuine in some areas, and it was like, okay, this is cool. I'm enjoying the way these scenes have been playing out throughout the course of that entire middle section. And that was, just me. I don't know about your
That's
thoughts.
because a quick interjection.
Yeah.
That's because it wasn't dimes.
It was not.
Noah Clore gets co-writing credit on this episode, who has been staff writer on Mando and Book of Boba, and this is his first.
Yeah, I don't know
co-writing
if John
episode,
knew about all the book lore and like the NSC stuff. I mean, he probably does now, of course, but at the time writing it, probably not.
Noah Clore, who is staff writer. So
Yeah.
he got promoted on this one.
Yeah, but he was co-writer. You said so they.
Co-writer, but I mean
technically
both of them. But
it was him. I mean, I imagine that like John kind of maybe did the Mando stuff and then
Noah Clore did the
Coruscant
stuff.
Yeah. It did have two different vibes of style.
It did,
of
definitely, yeah,
writing, which again didn't disconnect me at all.
Yeah, no, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, like it was, like it should have been like very like like. I'm trying to find the word, but it like should have been a weird kind of like transition between the two, but I think it worked.
I think it would have been more of a difficult transition if they were editing Mando's story arc in between.
Throughout it,
I don't think that would have. Yeah, then
so it was definitely fair to take this story, this entire arc, and this took place over the period of a couple of months. It felt like it seemed like it was this development of those two characters was there. She does talk last week and this and that, or yesterday or whatever. So. It was a time jump over the course of a period of time that she got to connect with Pershing, and it was fun to see.
So politics, I'm not sure that the Jedi Temple has ever been the highest peak on Coruscant. I know that maybe you're conflating, like there used to be sort of a rock like
like before it was all industrialized. I think that's kind of the idea.
Well, no, but there is like a mountain thing under the temple, but it's the Sith temple.
Sure.
That exists in both canon and legend, that there's a Sith temple beneath the Jedi temple.
Yeah.
But the high peak Umat is the one in
the highest natural peak of the original planet.
Yeah, that's like a literal mountain.
Yeah.
That's like Mount Everest on Earth or something like that.
Right.
And there's been so many layers that little rock is all that's
visible.
left. So, and that was designed for Clone Wars, but it's based off of the Ralph McQuarrie art, I believe, from the 90s. It wasn't for it wasn't
70s.
for
No, it wasn't New Hope. It was,
I know, I don't. It wasn't for. No, I thought it was for like one of the illustrated art books. It wasn't actually for the movies.
I thought it was connected with Empire Strikes Back. I could be wrong. I'll have to double check my book. I've got it there. But maybe it was as late as Jedi.
I don't know where it would have.
I thought it was one of the ones. You know how because there was art for those like Star Wars, the Illustrated Galaxy, or whatever. I thought it was one of those where it was
I think
like
that
additional
right
additional art.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
But
I could be wrong. If it was for anything, it would probably be for Jedi though, right? For Abaddon and Coruscant, because they were originally going to have that city world on in Jedi. So that's the only thing I can think of. But I don't know. Maybe
that sounds right to me as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so seeing that was super cool, because that's something that's been in Clone Wars for the last 13 years, and then it also was just in. It's so cool. It's just a quick anecdote about the different sides of Star Wars. On Twitter, I saw a lot of people going, did you guys catch the High Republic reference in this episode? And it's because there's a lot of new fans who are reading those books and maybe haven't seen or, meticulously pored over every episode of Clone Wars. But because in Light of the Jedi, the first High Republic novel, there's a great moment on Coruscant where the chancellors are talking about that rock, and there's a whole scene at that plaza. And so for some fans, they were like, "Oh my God, this is this thing from this book brought to live action."
That's
and
funny.
I thought, so I like
that's their into the
they're into that little reference, but because there's so many different in points, and it's been referenced in like little points throughout canon, and I don't know, it's really cool. And in that novel, what the rock represents to the Republic is that
I wouldn't say that's accurate.
Trying to make a distractor. No, I don't think so. Is that even something as big as the Republic?
Funny though.
It can never truly be covered by this like whatever whatever government is, whatever industry, like the heart of what makes this planet whole can never really be captured, even if it's like a little bit left. It still peeks through. So I don't know. That's just cool. It's just cool seeing that. And that whole scene. Did you guys catch the Dean Cundey cameo in there?
Yes. He was the cinematographer of this episode, Book of Boba Fett, Back to the Future 1, 2, 3, way back.
He was the guy with the
magician dragon.
The magician.
with the dragon thing.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
that's interesting.
It was
Okay.
Deep
Yeah.
I
Gundy,
didn't know
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was looking up the Ralph McQuarrie art. Yeah, I think it's from it's from the Art of the Star Wars trilogy book, which is pretty cool. So, anyways,
Well, that doesn't really answer the question at all.
what we were trying to find what book it was from. That's the book.
But, well, more like what movie or where, like
What time
where was it
period?
made?
Isn't there like a collective book though? Because that's what this says.
Yeah.
Anybody
But it
know?
would have that like I don't know what that means.
I'd have
Of
to go
course
pull
it
it out. I'm not going to do that. Anyway,
Yeah.
what was the other thing? There was something else in that scene.
Well, the March of the Resistance, the carnival.
Yes, that's it. Yes,
Yeah.
the music, the soundtrack. That was almost identical, note for note, at that point. It was great.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I love as someone who's a fan of John's work on the sequels, John Williams' work
Yeah.
on the sequels, to hearing it referenced
Yeah.
in this way
Yeah.
was super cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
It only
I'm looking
gets
forward to the soundtrack.
yeah, it only gets cooler as we get more and more into the world building
Yeah.
of this era. Because when I'm thinking, you think back to Mando season 1, the closest we got was Grief and Mando talking, and he just, they have that one line about how the New Republic's a joke,
Yeah.
and that's it, and that's all. Like, and slowly as it, Mando season 1 starts as this serialized adventure, and then we grow to we widen the world a little bit in season 2, and now
Yeah.
we're to the point where we have episodes starting with full-on dogfights leading into
Yeah.
entire subplots on Coruscant with the entire Republic. It's like, this is amazing. This,
5 years ago, who would have imagined?
I know, and it is the one. I was having a conversation with someone about this recently, but it's continued to be the one upside to the sequels, at least The Force Awakens specifically, almost relentless focus on character over world building. Is
Yeah.
that because there really wasn't much world building in those movies, it's allowed us a lot of room to play in
Yeah.
this 30 years where
Yeah.
we can build this long story that can fit into that timeline and make, there's not a lot to be contradicted. So we can have these sprawling stories and these tales that will make, when that Star Destroyer shows up in TFA, it'll just feel right. It'll just make sense, and we won't need, like, all the line is from the ashes of the Empire, and that's all you get about the First Order. And then off of that line, all of these shows in that 30-year timeline. And I don't know.
It's crazy. So
Crazy.
Pretty cool.
I'm quite curious. All these pieces that Pershing pulled from the Star Destroyer, it seemed like, okay, this stuff could have been pulled from anywhere. They needed him to pull specific things for some purpose in the future. I mean, do we have any guess or inkling as to? I mean, we know obviously it's connected with cloning. Who do we think the new head of cloning is?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because as we react to the episode, and I've seen this in everyone's reactions,
Yeah.
People are jumping to all different conclusions about like who Elia Kane even is. Like from our perspective, I think we all agree here, like, oh no, she's definitely evil with Gideon. But some people are watching the episode going, oh, like she's just a New Republic person, and the New Republic person is just bad because they might not they might not fully remember her as
from the previous. I mean,
yeah.
But even in the context of what we know, at first, I think we all thought, at least John, the nerds thought that whole patrol was in on it. With
that's
Kane.
what it felt like.
Which I
thought it was.
I don't think that's the case. I think
Really?
she is just so deep cover, like she is.
How did?
Because she's
There's a lot of
operating.
questions with that,
No,
though.
they're not really. I think she's just operating as a New Republic operative. Because they say
course.
afterwards, well, no, she's like, they say like, oh, you're one of our like brightest things, and she's just operating as someone who entraps the ones who go off, and like that's the position that she's held.
That means she was deep cover on Gideon's ship. Is that right?
I guess, no. I don't think
saying.
No, she's Imperial.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Okay,
in the New
gotcha.
Republic,
So-
she's embedded herself.
Right.
She's
Well,
embellished.
of course they wouldn't arrest her. They would.
Yeah, she's embedded herself as this
Yeah.
makes
agent
sense.
for them,
Yeah.
and she's been waiting for this opportunity for Pershing because he recently got out of reconditioning, and he got transferred to Coruscant. She's been waiting for this opportunity. Like, no, she's definitely bad. I mean, the way she watches him. She's not actually good with the New Republic, but she's using them.
Yeah. So two things. Obviously, she got off of Gideon's cruiser at the light cruiser at the end of Mando season 2. was we never see her in the final shot. She was
Well,
on the
it's funny.
bridge, and
There
she
is a
did-
shot. Yeah, there
Yeah.
is a shot in the
Yeah.
finale where she does get shot. I think
Really?
I found that, but
Okay,
it's like
that's what I thought.
it's super like it's only in one frame, and she
Right.
gets shot in the shoulder, and she falls forward. And it's like you would never know. Like it's one of those things.
Right.
That's like it doesn't matter. I
Yeah,
don't know.
fair enough. Fair enough. I
She
mean, but
survived.
she obviously managed to escape from there or get
Yeah.
off from there
Yeah.
to infiltrate because she was yeah. Anyway, but then the other thing is because of the Bad Batch, could Nala Se be still around, and could Nala Se have kind of been fully pulled into what the Empire, could she have been drinking the juices that the Empire had been selling eventually?
Well,
It doesn't seem like it at the Bad Batch time, but I wonder if she might be
Well,
the new clone leader again. Still,
at the time. Like, there's definitely there's explicit reference to the Bad Batch. I mean, the Bad
Yeah.
Batch is dealing with cloning, and then in this
Mhm.
episode, Pershing says like, "Thanks to the Kaminoans, we know
Exactly.
this."
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're
Hmm.
gonna they at least scientifically tie together in the broad scheme of things. I
Yeah.
don't think Nala Se will be around in
Yeah.
Mando time, but
Mhm.
whatever we see going on in Tantus in the coming weeks in Bad Batch is almost assuredly building
So-
on whatever work Pershing will do in the future.
Tantus live action and the original Thrawn, Heir to the Empire series, where Thrawn is searching for Tantus, could possibly come back to play, unless down the track. I don't know whether Ahsoka might deal with Thrawn looking for Tantus or something like
Mhm.
that. But could that even possibly play into that story arc? Is that going to be a big threat? I wonder. Who knows? I mean, throwing it out there.
So politics brings up she may be planning Gideon's breakout. So I don't know. I think Gideon might already be out. I think we
Yeah,
might
but
just be
yeah,
skipping-
that's my idea. Gideon
Really?
I think we might just be skipping right
already
past.
gone. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
Well, because the
Like he even could be off. Like I think he's probably off world. at
Was-
this point.
Hmm.
because the amnesty officer said, I heard that he escaped on his way to the war
Run
tribunal.
away.
And the other one goes, I heard
Yeah.
that was just a cover. They actually put him in a mind flayer. But
Yeah.
usually when they say that, like I think he actually probably did escape.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so we'll find out
What's
soon
going on in
enough.
chat?
I'm sure.
mean- I mean, that would definitely be. It would keep in the theme of season 3 so far, of where
Yeah.
they're not wasting any time. And like if
Yeah,
they don't,
Gideon's always like in the
and they,
the back half.
if they don't need to show it,
Yeah.
then they're just gonna do it this season.
Wait,
Well,
Levi,
yeah, I think we could they could maybe do it in a flashback. I wouldn't really think they needed to. They would need to, but potentially they could. Are we gonna see Gideon next episode? I would say probably not.
Maybe at the end.
Maybe right at the end. Yeah.
yeah,
But
it
I
feels like
think
it might be an
I think
episode
this is
5
gonna be
deal.
the Din and Bo, like, okay, what are we doing
Yeah.
now? Kind of thing. Like their kind of interactions with the new Mando group now. So
I was going to say, I
go ahead.
forgot the name of episode 1 of this season.
The
but it's
Apostate?
It was the Apostate. Sorry, it was the Apostate. Okay, Minds of Mandalore was the second. Okay,
Yeah.
at least 2 of these 3 titles are being kind of religious related in connection. Which
Yeah,
is kind of interesting. I'm curious as to how many religious themes and spiritual themes they're going to take and pull onto relating to characters and
Mhm.
all that this season. It could be interesting to see.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing how this. I mean, yeah, because I'm so interested. Like when is Bo like waiting to strike kind of thing, and and then like
I don't know if she
whole
even
dark
knows
saber
or is aware. I
conversation.
don't think at the end of the episode she's even aware yet. I think she's taking. I've got a theory about
yeah, I mean,
where this might be
big
going.
deal. Yeah.
Okay,
Go ahead.
my theory at this point is Din Djarin is the leader. He's got the dark saber. Now, what beats a leader in the sense of following a legend? Now, the legend is going to be Bo-Katan. Is going to be the one I feel like is going to end up by grabbing the mythosaur, grabbing it by the horns. However, she's going to ride this thing.
Mhm.
I feel like that's going to be a comeback, which would also mean that they need to end up back on Mandalore at the end of the season for some purpose or reason against something that's big enough to for them to go up against. I'm curious as to where that's going to go, but I feel like it'll be Bo riding the mythosaur, not Din Djarin, as people have been predicting.
That'd be crazy times.
That would be
Cad-
so crazy.
Cad.
What's that?
Cad
Huh?
Bane breaks
No,
out.
no,
Gideon. I mean,
Diamond-
yeah,
Cad
but
Bane.
I-
Okay, all right.
it definitely seems like
Yeah.
Bo is becoming more central to
Mhm. Being the leader.
that plot than Din. 'Cause I feel like I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, we were
That's
having
my theory, at least. Yeah.
No,
Well,
no,
I think-
I think that comes
I don't
from,
even think it's. Yeah, I think it comes from an accurate place.
from an accurate
Because
standpoint.
we were having a conversation last night. If it goes that way, we had a sort of thing. Where is the place for Din? Like what's
Yes.
Din?
Yeah,
like,
because I
what's
mean, like
Din-
even just in the long term,
like in
wherever
terms
this,
of
this whole
yeah,
thing goes.
yeah,
not
in
even just
terms
the
of
season.
But-
Mandalorian season 4, if Bo becomes Mandalore at the end of the season, like okay,
But
yes, what does that mean for Din?
We had the same questions about Sabine Wren in Rebels, though. Once she had the dark side, there was so much conversation about, is Sabine Wren going to become the new leader of Mandalore?
No,
That when she passed it on to Bo, and between interviews with Dave Filoni and stuff like that, where he's always said that
I don't know about
the
Sabine.
following.
I mean,
But
I
I'm
think
saying no. But I'm saying like Sabine was expected, or people were predicting that Sabine, back in the Rebels days, was going to be the leader.
I never thought.
And no, I never thought that either. But
It may have
also
been a
came
theory,
and
but
confirmed
sure,
but it was confirmed by Dave Filoni saying, no, these stories are not about our lead character become the hero and the leader. These characters are crossing paths with all these other elements and connect with these other elements, but we're not necessarily doing a Luke Skywalker where they become the last Jedi. We're taking these characters and we're saying that they are connected to someone who might be more worthy in different reasons and purposes, but we're following a different journey on these characters. So I feel like Din's journey is going to keep constantly changing past this season into other arcs that are going to pull and drive him forward.
I don't know. Din's like in the case of Sabine.
Yeah,
that never made sense to me because Sabine and all the Rebels characters, just narratively, structurally, she was part of that family, and in that point in the story, the point of her was she had to come to terms with her own guilt about Mandalore, and then she came back, and then at the end of the show, obviously, her purpose becomes going to find Ezra. Like that, because it's a group, it's a family dynamic. There's always a certain purpose, and they're building the rebellion.
Purpose,
all that.
And I think that's.
So it was always like built into the character. Whereas Din season 1 is very much you got the kid, protect the kid. That's like the mission statement of season 1. Now it becomes a dad. Season 2, get the kid to the kid to the Jedi. Now that
mission's done.
Yeah, now that he's back, it was okay. Become
redeem
a Mandalorian.
yourself.
Yeah, redeem yourself. Become a Mandalorian again.
Now he's
that's
done.
done. That's done already. It's done.
So it's like
so
okay, but now the path is clearly like okay. There's clearly going to be a plot with uniting Mandalore.
Yeah.
But, okay.
I do think like
if Bo is being positioned to be that ruler.
Yeah.
Then what does Din do? He's just gonna be a dad in the galaxy. He's just a guy. Like
maybe there's something we don't know about yet that's been set up for
that's true.
Future story,
I think that
for his character.
Of course.
I do think that Din will be a major component in like uniting everybody. I mean that clearly seems to be where they're going with everything. Do you think we'll see Thrawn this season? I think we could see Thrawn like at the very end.
So this is a good question. This is a good question because I've seen.
Could Thrawn be pulling
the season
over Gideon? We don't know because we've got these TIE fighters coming in.
That's what I wanted to bring up. I've seen a lot of dialogue.
And they came out of nowhere too.
I assumed it was Moff Gideon, but I'm like, wait, could it be Thrawn?
Well, they say so. Bo-Katan says, I've scugged off a lot of warlords, but that was 5 interceptors, and then all these other ones show up. They have bombers. They're coming from somewhere.
But they were just flying in fleets. Like that was interesting.
I was expecting to see a cruiser or something.
Star Destroyer or something.
That's what I said. Because TIEs don't have. Well, there was one because TIEs don't have hyperdrive, so they were coming from somewhere. So it's like clearly there's something more organized, and they have that realization. They say that in the episode. They say, "Oh, this is more than a warlord." So I think my personal theory right now, like the point is that is something that there is something there. That's not just there's TIE fighters. Like that is going to go somewhere in the story. My personal theory is that Gideon, he's busted out. He's already out, and whatever he's doing,
I think he's out.
I think he's out, but I think he's going to try and vie for the Mandalorian like position again. Like I think he is going to try and claim as his little Imperial faction Mandalore. Like I think that's going to be his thing. I think they're going to really centrally focus this plot of this faction of the Empire around Mandalore, because Gideon personally has so much to do with the destruction of Mandalore. They said, having just rewatched the season, like he is not only just an Imperial villain, this guy is responsible for destroying that planet. So to tie that off emotionally, they've already established in Rebels that there are Imperial Mandalorians, like that's a thing. So, and we've heard some rumors about his armor, about that he's going to have some new armor and maybe a Mandalorian helmet, something like that. And so I think what that might be is that he's going to say, no, I not only beat Bo-Katan, but I blew up your planet. Like anyone who is left should be loyal to me. And I think like in
Right.
Rebels, there might be some Mandalorians who say, like Maul too. Like I see the logic in that. I'm with this guy, and so we might have to deal with a
Right.
sort of civil war
Yeah.
again.
We do have a little bit of footage left, but I think it's gonna be in 4.
the
and
next
it's
week.
just
It's
like
gonna be
it's
next
just some It's, I think they've kind of been doing this. I mean, they did it last season, just showing the like footage from the first 4.
Yeah.
Politics.
I
remember the footage of the Mandalorians on Navarro.
The big wide.
That's it. Yeah, that feels like that could be next
big wide
week.
shots of
I'm
the
guessing.
Mandos. There's a few we've missed.
I'll just say like it is next week because next week is Carl Weathers, and Carl Weathers always does the Navarro episode.
Yeah.
Whenever he directs, he's directing Navarro. So it's like it's gotta be.
That's
like
good.
it's gotta be.
Is it written by Dave Filoni next week?
I think Dave did episode 5.
Oh, episode 5 you wrote.
Well, let me check. He did a couple episodes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it was probably John though, but all right. There's a lot of things in chat here. Chad thinks.
No.
Chad thinks the opposite.
It is.
Sorry, it is Dave.
Dave did 4 and 7.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
I know
4 and 7.
Awesome.
I knew he did 2.
Well, if Dave's
I'm not
writing an
spy,
episode, well, I guess if Dave's directing an episode, we expect Luke Skywalker. If he's
But
writing an
but
episode,
Dave is not. Yeah, Dave is
if
not.
he's writing an episode, we're probably.
But okay.
Dave's not
adding something new.
this season.
Well, no, this is actually interesting because usually Dave will write and direct episodes, like fully write and direct episodes where it's Ahsoka or Luke. This is the first time that he's not only not directing a single episode, but he's only co-writing. He did not just outright write.
Okay, gotcha.
John is still on there, so
Right.
I think what might end up happening is we might keep going on this B plot kind of narrative where we're doing other things because one of the I agree with Politics in the chat that and Dimes that usually we only see the first 4 episodes and of the footage we don't have we have Carson Teva and also the Mandalorians. So I think Carl Weathers
and the
probably,
droids.
Oh, you're right, the droids.
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe it's one of the plots is I don't think we'll see the droids next week. That seems like too much to cram in.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
No, not for next week.
But I would
unless it's an hour-long episode.
But I would bet in my head that we're doing an A plot with the Mandalorians. We gotta defend Navarro from the pirates, and then the B plot is Carson Teva, and Dave probably wrote on whatever the New Republic plot is there.
That'd be cool.
I feel like that's connected to Gideon too, probably.
And it's probably connected to Gideon. So that's my guess.
Yeah.
I would say. Are we seeing Black Chrysanthemum? Probably no. This season,
Probably not.
no.
I mean, are we seeing Boba Fett? Wait, we do know. Wasn't there a teaser or international trailer or something that showed Boba Fett?
Yeah,
Or
but
was that
I
my
think
imagination?
It was
No,
it
no,
was
no,
international like
You're
Twitter
right.
account or something.
No, you're right that was reported, and it was also other foreign Lucasfilm accounts said
I wish
that.
he was still alive.
Oh, okay.
But
we
I
don't officially know.
But we don't know for officially. And I personally don't think. I think there's so many background Mandalorians in this season who look like Boba Fett. I think in trailers, if there's a flash and someone goes, "Oh, that's Boba Fett,"
You wouldn't like. You would know if it was Boba Fett. Like,
we've already we went to Tatooine already, and they said Boba.
Yeah,
Fett.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's
he was
true.
Gonna show up.
They referenced him, but you know.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel like this is the season that Boba Fett needs to be in because he doesn't want to have any connection to this group of people. You know, it seems so, and he seems pretty content on Tatooine.
Probably evil
for now.
To some.
Well, I don't want to get your hopes up, Dimes, but Rick Famuyiwa directs the finale. Both he directs the.
Rick is a great director, so I'm
he's
my very hyped for.
He does my favorite episodes, and it's a 2-part finale this season. And Rick Famuyiwa was doing both episodes. I don't think we've ever had that in Mandalorian.
No.
Yeah.
For any of the shows, no.
Man, we've never done a live-action 2-part finale directed by the same person.
Yeah.
Because I mean season 1 is kind of a 2-part finale, to be honest. But it's Deborah Chow.
Two different directors.
I guess.
So
it's kind of like a two-part. Yeah.
This is the first time it'll be one vision. It will probably.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. I'm excited to see that. Yeah, it is crazy. We
David, John, and Rick goes. Well, actually, everybody's.
Yeah, Lee Isaac Chung, Rachel Morrison. All.
This new director they had last night. He's amazing. I love it.
The directing this episode.
And even
good.
You know what? People kind of complained about last week's with Rachel. I forgot her name. Morrison. I actually enjoyed her directing on that. It didn't bother me.
Yeah, I like to. Yeah, I like to as well. I think this episode. I mean, had especially in the Mando stuff has had a lot of. Sorry, I'm just getting distracted by chat. A lot of a lot more energy. I mean, just like again that
Yeah.
Starfighter fight. I just
So
I
good.
need to think about this. Levi's saying that it's his favorite.
It is.
So I know I gotta think. I
Well,
think I agree because
I can
It was
say
the
it is
most
my-
intense.
it's
It
like-
was more intense for me than
so
even
good.
Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi had like a second of intensity of
Yeah,
like I
compared
think
to
that one shot with
movies
all the fighters
with the
coming past
Falcon. Yeah, it's like
Falcon.
one.
Yeah,
It's one. Yeah.
one
Yeah.
intense moment. The rest is like this is cool. This is a beautiful shot. This was like intense.
Yeah,
It's like,
I do think
so
of,
good.
and what I really like as well is Luthen's fight in Andor. I think that's very much an underrated
Yeah,
one.
but also it was
it's quick.
maybe
But not-
but it was
maybe
quick, it
a
was
minute.
quick. It was
Not
quick.
even a minute long. Yeah, it was quick, dude. This lasted. This was
This
like,
like
last,
a whole
I mean, yeah, it was like
sequence. It was like
10,
a 6-7 minute sequence.
yeah, like 10
Yeah.
minutes or something.
It
Yeah,
was-
so good. I mean, I think there's, we've been kind of going all over the place a little bit here, but
It's all right.
But is there no? It's is there anything like with Coruscant that's like major we wanted to bring? I mean, I know there
Well, there was
so
so
much
much
episode, but there's
going
a
on
lot.
there that was just fun references to the state of the galaxy.
It was
Right.
good. It was great world building. I
Yeah.
mean, definitely
Tons
like
of
world. Yeah.
got a
I
feel for the
enjoyed
state
the
of the
world building.
galaxy, and especially
Mhm.
like the government in
Yeah.
power now.
He
and
directed The
everything. It was
Believer.
just- Yes, he did the Believer.
Anyway, so yeah, like
The
seeing
Bill Burr episodes. He did
there
the
was
Bill Burr
there was a lot of Andor parallels, right? Because we see
Yeah.
Cyril
Yeah.
Karn in
fast
the
fast food Andor.
Yeah.
we see Cyril Karn in the in the cubicles, and now we see
Yes. Yeah.
the same sort
Yeah.
of cubicles and how they've
Mhm.
changed and how that office environment under the New Republic has changed.
Yeah.
And in that moment though, you do get a lot of you get that moment of levity, but honesty from the officer there who says, we're not the Empire. Like we're actually
Mhm.
running really behind. It's
Yeah.
been 7 years since the end of Return of the Jedi, and we're still trying to decommission
Yeah.
all these fleets because it's like
Yeah.
there's just so much stuff, which confirmed I say it in my reaction, but it plays into what we've known in canon that the New Republic does try and demilitarize. That is an effort that
Mhm.
Mon Mothma makes as Chancellor
Yeah.
to dismantle military might because in case there's another Palpatine, then if
Mhm.
there's no strong military, then the politician wouldn't be able to dominate the galaxy in the same way. So that's the logic there. Obviously,
Yeah.
they don't know
But
about.
they left themselves open with all these holes that the New Order, the First Order, can kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
create
obviously
because
they
of
don't
this
they
too,
don't
yeah.
they don't know about the Sith existing
of
in the
course.
galaxy. Like that is what ultimately thwarts
Yeah.
the New Republic, is that Palpatine is still clinging to life, and there's always going to be these negative forces out there in the
Mhm.
galaxy. But I think where it comes from, that 30 years of peace or relatively more like 24,
Yeah.
that exist, like it comes from a good place. Like I
Yeah.
understand why a government would do this after the horrors of the Empire. Is like, well,
Mhm.
if we cut it off before it can happen, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say it won't happen again because we won't even let the potential exist for someone to even claim that kind of power. But
Yeah.
because it isn't an empire, they're not authoritarian, stuff starts to run like there's a lot more opportunity for error. And so just that element of, man, we're behind. Like we're just there's so much stuff we have to go through, and because we're a volunteer force, we're not press ganging people into service. We don't have slaves. We don't have Wookiees to build the Death Star for us, kind of thing, and Geonosians and et cetera, et cetera. It's like it's a difficult process to run this government, and all the while, like we mentioned it earlier, but you have that Canto Bite-esque rich class of people who the guy's like, I almost got drafted, and she's like, darling, that was the Empire, and he's
Yeah,
like, oh,
yes,
I
yeah.
don't know what's going
I
on.
don't
It's like,
remember.
Yeah,
anymore.
it's like when you have this
yeah.
planet
Well-
like Coruscant, it's like, what do you do about that?
You were
trillions
saying-
of people to
Trillions.
try and manage.
Yeah, I that
I was-
was an interesting
Yeah,
part. A
I
lot
was-
I just
yeah.
it was just great to check in on Coruscant again, just seeing.
Yeah,
seeing
totally. That was the most
Oh.
we've ever seen the Coruscant in beauty
In a
shots ever.
while. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously saw it in Andor, and that's like night and day with
Yeah, but
with what we've
this
seen.
felt even bigger than in Andor, because Andor was still like closed off buildings. We got the whole run of so much beauty of this, and
A lot
color
more depth
and
of
everything
field
too.
in the shot. Yeah.
Which was cool. I mean, you noticed in Andor how obviously when the Empire was kind of in control, that it was a much colorless state, and we got the color back by this point in time within the environments. I thought which was a nice thing, which is cool. The other thing I was going to mention too is at the end when Kane is turning the dial up on Pershing, all I could think about in my head was Moff Gideon having a conversation with her about what do we do with him once we've got these parts, and Moff Gideon just going, kill him.
I was really
felt
interested.
like
why wouldn't they like?
Because
I thought this to myself, and there's probably a good answer, but like, why bring Pershing all the way there and then have him grab all this equipment? Why can't they just take take everything from the lab?
Because he did have a change of heart. That's the thing. They wouldn't.
I guess there was that other motive of getting rid of him because
they wouldn't be
really
able
testing
to actually,
him if he would come back. But
they wouldn't actually be able to convince him to do that work anymore. Even during Mandalorian season 1, he was already tepid,
already kind of off.
We knew he was
not wanting to do it.
He was not. He was not on.
He saw the moral issue with it.
Yeah, he was not on board with that. He says in this episode too, like there's a lot of moral quandaries to the work I do, and so I think he legitimately did not like the Empire and did not want it to come back. So he would never willingly go along with, like, if this is where I think it's going with Snoke and Palpatine, and they're talking about that stuff. They played the throat singing theme. I'm sure you guys noticed in the chat there was that moment where they were doing the cloning theme from last season, which seems pretty explicit. But he would not. He doesn't want to do that. I don't think he wants to create that. He wants to help people. Like he talks about his mom's death and how he just wants to help clone organs so people can stay healthy.
There was wholesome.
But so few, stuff. As we see in Bad Batch, the Empire purged so much of this knowledge. So few people know what to actually do and what actually to get from, say, a lab like that. So I think they need him to get. They need him to go get, like,
I said more so like just grab everything.
Yeah.
But
at the end of the day, whatever he was getting was just a MacGuffin to say this is what he needs to get.
Yeah.
But
at the end of the day,
that being the case, the MacGuffin is picked up, it's put in a box ready to be taken off. But then wouldn't the New Republic end up with that box at the end of the day? And two, why was that stuff just still floating around on a random Star Destroyer? It just seems
true.
It was a weird,
I was a little surprised it hasn't been salvaged yet as well.
Yeah, it was just that was
interesting.
The fact that
seems like a lot of what was it?
How's that?
No, well, that there's this huge. I mean, they have hundreds of these Star Destroyers on.
Correct.
Just sitting there. The fact that one has some stuff, and she clearly knew which one to go to. She had been sneaking out. She got the crackers from there.
Okay.
They established that she had gone and found it previously. Yeah. She knew this was a total setup the whole time.
She just didn't know exactly what to pick.
She didn't know what to pick. She had found that lab before. She didn't know what to get, and that's why they had to get him to do it.
Still want to know what the purpose of those MacGuffin pieces are going to be. You know, as an immediate here and now, it's like,
this is a good question too. Is like, is he dead? Like, is he a zombie? Like, what is?
Well, okay, there's the
potential that again?
I guess he's a vegetable.
Yeah,
right?
It could be potential that his mind is like reset, and she takes him and is like, well, no, because if his mind was fully reset,
I mean, he's like literal frying.
Yeah, he'd forget.
Like, I'm shocked we didn't even see smoke.
It doesn't. Yeah. If he's a vegetable, we won't see him again. But if he's not a vegetable and he's just been reprogrammed or more or less like a droid, then we might see the actor come up again for some
the Mon Cala being like, it's actually, I've done it myself. It's quite relaxing.
It's a trap.
Not for Pershing.
Yeah.
But I actually, it was funny because we were reacting with Dylan last night, and he was like, oh, Pershing's gonna die at the end of the episode. He said that like towards the beginning. I was like,
I know, and I was like, we both.
And I was like, no way.
And I was
like, he's like, I think he did. Like, I think he's dead.
Yeah.
So Captain Jack is bringing up a good point. Like Zebo from Rebels. So in Rebels, they established sort of what Lobot is.
Yeah.
Like the cyborgs who, like, the Empire would take people and.
Oh yeah, could he get
sort of hollow out their brains and just use them as essentially human or organic computers?
Could Pershing be the next Lobot?
But I think what she did to Pershing was literally like frying him.
No, like fry his brain.
That was not. Oh, we'll use you.
That was level 5. That was level 12.
You're done. She cranked it off the dial. Which that was a great shot. Shout out to Katie O'Brien, by the way, who delivered a great performance here. And after seeing her in Ant-Man, it makes me go, that was Peyton Reed's fault. Like, that's not her fault.
I can tell it's the direction.
Yeah, you can tell. Like, she's a great actor and she kills it here.
Yeah.
So
no, she was really good in this episode.
And
very conniving. Very.
The look she has on her face as she takes a bite of that cracker.
Oh yeah, it was great.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Pershing cloned himself. Yeah, maybe.
That was actually I like that point, Gambit, because I
think so?
actually did cross my mind is what if Pershing had this was a clone of himself? Just I mean, it doesn't make
That would
sense,
be
but
crazy.
maybe he got to that level that he actually could have. We don't know yet. Characters never truly die, remember, in Star Wars. They just get
True.
Right. Well, that's what I'm
Purpose.
saying. Like, yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I was asking. Like, do you think
Mhm.
Pershing is actually dead, or is he? Or
Yeah.
are we gonna see him just kind of like
Yeah.
not there?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I assume we won't see him again, but then again, who knows what the history books will tell
would-
in the future.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
I mean,
Yeah.
it would
I don't know.
like how would he clone himself though?
Yeah, that's
that'd
Yeah,
be-
no, but that's the thing. Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
years. It'd be like a child
Yeah.
at most.
But if you were
Little
going
baby
to
Pershing.
test his technology and you had the ability
PP.
of having that technology, obviously the Force was not something he could reclone, but
Sure.
at that point in time. But the fact is, if he was going to test it and he had these implications of being able to test something or someone, you would probably want to test it on yourself if you're in his position.
This is a
Maybe.
funny comment, and I
Maybe.
enjoy this. Sorry, Brent.
That's it.
This is a funny comment,
Choice
and I
of
enjoy
boss.
this. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say if I agree or not, but
Mhm.
it's funny.
Yeah, your silence maybe says.
There you go.
And
Anyway,
there was a lot
I
of
mean-
there's a lot of great creatures in this episode too. A lot of funny aliens. A lot of
Yeah,
Like
the
good
big
just
alien on
throwers.
the train was awesome. That was cool.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Practical
Yeah.
stuff.
I love the.
Some nice practicals.
Freaking. Was it Tongs Day?
yeah Tongs Day.
Tongs Day. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Levi,
think
you were iffy on that bit.
well, I just think
on
it's I think it's a little goofy on the rewatch.
It's a
I
little.
thought it was funny. Like I think it's
Bendu
it's
Day,
aware.
Tongs Day.
I think they know that it's
Yeah.
like, a little on the nose.
They're like.
But
Did they say Bendu Day?
Yeah, but I
yeah.
think it's
Yeah. In
but-
the cubicle.
in the cubicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the character's name, but the one who is kind of like overseeing Persian.
Yeah.
But
So-
that big alien though on rewatch.
Yeah, dude,
actually-
I love that guy.
Like he actually does a little nod when she says Tongs, am I right? It
Yeah.
cuts back to him, and the reason he cuts back is because he goes, and then on
Yeah,
his way
yeah,
out,
yeah.
like he like waves, and then
Yeah.
like he waves really slowly. It's so funny.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. And
I
Brent,
missed,
did you see?
I missed big Star Wars creatures like that.
But did you see
too.
Reminded me
in the
of TFA.
background of the train station, Pit from Star Wars Resistance, the
Yeah,
street
Levi
shooter
saw
guy.
that.
Really? No, I didn't. I've only watched it on the small screen. I haven't had the chance to rewatch it
Yeah.
today, but I do want to see it on.
I was-
I'll keep an eye out for that.
I know it was so funny. His little
Really?
red
I
eyes, his
haven't
his
seen
big
Resistance.
yellow
Like
head.
the one Star Wars thing
Oh,
I
wow.
haven't seen is
Oh,
Resistance.
that's cool.
No,
I
but he's
don't know if
there
I
and he's
ever
staring.
will.
It's actually kind of like I think it might be
He
breaking.
does. He
the fourth
looks
wall.
at camera.
Yeah, he's
kind of,
staring
sort
right
of.
at camera, and I'm
Really?
like, that's awesome.
damn.
It was such a
Okay.
little.
I
He's
it
like
was
in the
a-
bottom left
Let's
side of
check
the
it out
corner.
and
It's like
rewatch.
Pershing and over on the right. But
But the
yeah.
fact that they
Okay.
put that in there is just so fun to me.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Roly play with space bugs.
That was the best part of the reaction when Johnny went.
Well,
the
yeah.
bugs.
Okay. To me, come on. For a second, it looked like the centerpiece from episode 2.
I guess. a
Which
little
we got in the Bad Batch. Like,
Right. So I was like,
Yeah.
are those like where they would
Uh-huh.
be? Like maybe, and then
Mhm.
they like the eyes eyes were glowing, and I was like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
'Cause I went, oh shit.
Well, speaking of Bad Batch, before we wrap
Mhm.
up here, how about our quick thoughts on Pabu? Bad Batch are settling down.
Yeah.
I like
it
that
was-
episode.
It
Beautiful.
was decent. It had some nice visuals.
I love the planet.
It definitely moved the plot along from getting away from Sid, breaking away from Sid, and moving them closer to finding a new home, which feels like it's kind of like a temporary base, like we saw in Rebels, where by the end of the season it just may not be there anymore because I got a feeling the Empire's going to come in and do something.
Yeah, there was a couple lines where I was like, "How does the Empire not find you here?" And I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
they are setting this."
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
up.
forward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for-
exactly.
for
Well, the
failure.
thing is that whatever went on with Crosshair last week, I'm gonna guess he's either going to be either allowed to escape to find the batch and be tracked to get them, or they're going to try to purpose him to, get. I don't know what they're going to do exactly, but I feel like that. Yeah, Crosshair's direction towards them may put that place in jeopardy in the future.
Mhm.
I really loved the intro. I thought
Yeah.
the opening mission with Fee was fun. Like the batch
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
succeeding on a mission.
Temple of Doom vibes all the way
Yeah,
through. It was
total
great.
Yes.
Club Obi-Wan, yeah.
By the way, one of those signs up there says Lao Che. which is Lao Che from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. He was the one who tried to poison or did
I did not
poison
notice that. That's
Indiana
funny.
Jones. Yeah, it's actually what's it written?
Well, it's in Arabish. So.
In Arabish, so but at the same time, it translates as like the moment I saw it, it was like this has got Club Obi-Wan vibes to me, and I actually looked.
Do you know Arabish?
Like, oh shit! Not off the top of my head. I have to pull out a.
Not even I can translate Arabish.
I think it needs a little bit of training.
I'm gonna be the.
Yeah,
the,
I
the
thought
Arabish
about that.
guy.
I actually, yeah, but
yeah. No, I mean that's it. Just shows how in she was with.
Yeah, that's sort of what we were talking about politics.
Yeah,
I think she was. She's an imperial double agent.
Yeah, no. Thinking about it more, yes, that makes sense.
But her position in the New Republic was to try and expose
right.
people who weren't actually loyal to the program. Because that guy who you're talking about, who trusts her, he's saying like she's done this before, essentially. Like she says, like, oh, he was a friend, he relapsed, and he's like, oh, you're so good. Like I think this is what she's been doing.
And she wrote the report already, so she could have said anything, you know.
Exactly. And I think she was vague earlier in the episode. She says I regretted a lot of things getting to this point.
Yeah.
But I think her regrets are working for the New Republic.
The double meaning,
the double meaning is that I think she's regretted going in this deep with.
It also is somewhat between 0 to 2 years to this point in time, anyway, isn't it? So.
Yeah, it's true.
So time has taken place that she could very well be in that position. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to think. More about Bad Batch though. I mean, I loved the food. Looked good.
The food did look very good.
A lot of good food in this.
The sushi.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it looked delicious.
This is a good food app.
Definitely
we've gotten like very nice food, and then we got like the slop closet a few weeks ago. You know.
Bad Batch big on food.
Yeah, it's our first tsunami in Star Wars too, which is kind of cool. At least that I'm aware of.
Yeah, first Star Wars tsunami.
Yeah.
Maybe certainly on screen.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. As far as going, I don't know if there was anything in the books or anything.
There has been tsunamis in the past.
All right, that's cool. I mean,
weather does exist in Star Wars, but yeah, this was the most probably one of the most beautiful Bad Batch episodes, though.
I think so.
It was beautiful. Yeah,
I loved it.
When Omega and her new friend are on the boat, her name escapes me right now. I haven't learned it yet. And there's this shot of like the sunset.
Yeah,
the sky is just gorgeous.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I want to live there. I get settling down there. I would too.
And Tech and Fee seem to be having sort of like
there's something going on there. Tech's the next to leave the
Tech this season.
He's going to leave the group and go off with that.
Everything you said are done.
I could see Tech as being an archaeologist assistant. I mean, that'd be
maybe
kind of he'd be great at the traps and figuring out all the traps.
Oh god, yeah.
He'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, he'd know everything before it happened.
Yeah.
And I did also like seeing the Bad Batch without all their armor, like again, but in a relaxed environment.
They're casual.
They're just people.
Yeah.
They're just people hanging out.
Yeah.
Certainly not as like discussion worthy as last week, but I think it's but it sets the batch in a good place to establish some stakes for them.
There were some monkeys though.
They're gonna have to
3 episodes left.
Yes, 3 episodes left, and they're gonna have to not only will the Empire threaten this most likely, but they're gonna have to sacrifice this at some point to probably go help Crosshair if they're gonna ever save him. So that's gonna be the dynamic.
That's where I've got the reverse. What happens if he tries to? I mean, my guess is maybe they let him go and make him think he's escaping just to track
Crosshair.
him. Is my other was they are after Omega. That's my wild guess. I have no idea.
No, I think that's a fair idea. I could see that.
I don't think they can make these claims, Diamonds, because they bookended it with like 2 amazing Mando and Bo scenes.
Yeah.
Like 15 minutes of it. So
it's hard. Book of Boba Fett, it was just like complete.
Return of the episode Return of the Mandalorian. Literally
just the Mandalorian.
It's literally just the Mandalorian.
Like it's just Mando.
Yeah.
But I do understand. I'm sorry, I have something stuck in my throat. I do understand like the perspective of that though, and being like, because it's unorthodox, like the way this kind of whole universe has been kind of playing out. I think we're just having like just these not random, but just these stories just kind of come in and out between the shows of completely different matters. So I think. I don't know. I don't think it was obviously as bad as not as bad, but as like severe as it was in Book of Boba Fett.
Terrible.
Like we just said, it was like complete different episodes.
Yeah.
But I wonder if like we'll have a cutaway like that again in this season.
Well, I mean,
I'm
if you look back
intrigued.
at the original trilogy or any of this, Lucas directed films as well as the prequels, it's like, yeah, your story is always cut between the other events going on at the same
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
But in this particular case, and even Book of Boba Fett, these stories started well before the point in time that we're currently in. So they're not running parallel now. We are getting some backstory to these characters. I got a feeling that, Pershing and the prison stuff was at least, months earlier, if not a year earlier. And it led up to this point in time to connect it to the current time. And the same with Book of Boba Fett. We get his backstory over 5 years, and it leads up to the current point in time. So they're just doing a different format. And I don't think we've quite adjusted to that format. So some people are stressing about that more than others. I'm not stressing about it because I'm enjoying any backstory to anything before this point in time anyway. I still want to know, a lot more about the last 5 years. I want to see stuff immediately after the Battle of Endor. And that also leads me to kind of question, will we get a flashback of Moff Gideon? I don't know if he was ever at the Battle of Endor, but I mean, could you imagine a flashback of the Battle of Endor going on from Moff Gideon's cruiser with him and Kane and people, characters on the bridge? If we ever got
I will
that,
say, that'd
be mind blowing. That would be
that story has been
It would be
told.
freaking amazing. Yes.
It'd be a little reductive, I would say, because we've
But
gotten,
in what sense? In what sense?
I don't know where it would fit in.
because we've gotten that period of time in the timeline has been fleshed out a lot by the published
Kind of
fiction.
just replayed and replayed.
Okay.
And all the Mando stuff so far has actually been extremely respectful in building off of what they've established in those timelines.
Yeah.
Which is a little flashback to the Battle of Endor.
But in terms, I meant in terms of specifically that story you pitched.
Maybe in the Gideon show.
Right.
That story you pitched like from the perspective of the bridge.
Okay.
They've already done that a couple times, retroactively putting Imperial officers that may or may not show up in the show because they're relevant to the First Order at the Battle of Endor with that exact story. So
interesting. Okay.
I'm like I don't know, but it's particularly the character Ray Sloan, the story is Lever of Power, which is one of my favorite all-time Star Wars short stories. It's only 22 pages. If anyone wants to read one Star Wars piece of fiction in your life, read this story. And it's her at the Battle of Endor as, Piet's ship goes down and she's the one who takes command, and she has to and there's this great moment where, there's like all at this point in time. I'll just go on a I'll tell the whole story. So I don't want. We'll be here for another 20 minutes, but there's just great stuff that I think could literally show up in this show. So I think what you're describing could happen, but I don't know if it would be for Gideon.
But Levi, would you be opposed about seeing?
Absolutely
No,
not.
of course
not. No,
I don't think anybody would. But I just like
that would be
yes,
mind-blowing.
like what Levi said, but also like I don't know where or how it could fit into like a narrative. It also makes sense.
I think
I love the idea though.
Yeah, me too.
All right, well, we've been going for an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, we've been going for a bit, but
thank you
I think
guys.
We can wrap it up
for watching.
You want to give ratings quick?
Oh sure, yeah.
I done the reaction,
I was about to.
I think Ben said 8.7, which I think is what I said last night.
You said, do you hold by that?
I think 8. I think so. 8.7, yeah.
8.7. And Brent, for you?
I'm gonna go with a 9 on this one. This is really up there, but it's still there was a slight disconnection that was different, and I've just got to get used to that if they're going to keep going that route.
I agree as well, so I'm also going to hit it with a 9. I cannot thank the chat enough for this.
Thank you guys.
This was great chat.
Good crowd here. Good chat crowd. Thank you guys for
back and forth. You guys make
questions,
the
comments, the concerns.
Yeah.
And thanks Corey for the
even if
super chat.
Even if we don't read your chat, I assure you, just having it on the side there keeps the conversation in my mind.
I love going back and rewatching and reading the chat because there's so much I do miss when I'm hosting. I'm really focused on the chat and seeing what they say, so enough. But when I'm just a guest, I'm missing half the chat. Sorry guys, I love you all, but I do miss it.
I don't know if Solo 2 is gonna happen, but
I don't know about hope, but I can tell you, Dimes, that I want it to happen. But anyway, guys, thank you again
guys
for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Thank you.